Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ dhammāṃ saṅghāṃ namasāmi. These are several short readings from a still forest pool. It's compiled and edited by Jack Kornfield and Paul Breiter, Teachings of Ajahn Chah. The first one's just a short quote, but then the rest are all just short teachings. And I'll just kind of pause in between and keep going. Try to be mindful and let things take their natural course. Then your mind will become still in any surroundings, like a clear forest pool. All kinds of wonderful, rare animals will come to drink at the pool, and you will see clearly the nature of all things. You will see many strange and wonderful things come and go, but you will be still. This is the happiness of the Buddha. Traditionally, the Eightfold Path is taught with 8 steps, such as right understanding, right speech, right concentration, and so forth. But the true Eightfold Path is within us. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, a tongue, and a body. These 8 doors are our entire path, and the mind is the one that walks on the path. Know these doors, examine them, and all the Dhammas will be revealed. The heart of the path is so simple, no need for long explanations. Give up clinging to love and hate. Just rest with things as they are. That's all I do in my own practice. Do not try to become anything. Do not make yourself into anything. Do not be a meditator. Do not become enlightened. When you sit, let it be. When you walk, let it be. Grasp at nothing. Resist nothing. Of course, there are dozens of meditation techniques to develop samadhi and many kinds of vipassana. But it all comes back to this. Just let it all be. Step over here where it is cool, out of the battle. Why not give it a try? Do you dare? The Buddha does not want us to follow the double path, desire and indulgence on one hand, and fear and aversion on the other. Just be aware of pleasure, he teaches. Anger, fear, dissatisfaction are not the path of the yogi, but the path of worldly people. The tranquil person walks the middle path of right practice, leaving grasping on the left and fear and aversion on the right. One who undertakes the path of practice must follow this middle way. I will not take interest in pleasure or pain. I will lay them down. But of course it's hard at first. It's as though we're being kicked on both sides, like a cowbell or a pendulum. We're knocked back and forth. When the Buddha preached his first sermon, he discoursed on these 2 extremes, because this is where attachment lies. The desire for happiness kicks on one side. Suffering and dissatisfaction kick from the other. These 2 are always besieging us. But when you walk the middle path, you put them both down. Don't you see? If you follow these extremes, you'll simply strike out when you are angry and grab for what attracts you, without the slightest patience or forbearance. How long can you go on being trapped in this way? Consider it. If you like something, you follow after it when liking arises. It is just drawing you on to seek suffering. The mind of desire is really clever. Where will it lead you next? The Buddha teaches us to keep lying down these extremes. This is the path of right practice, the path of leading out of birth and becoming. On this path there is neither pleasure nor pain, neither good nor evil. Alas, the mass of humans filled with desiring just strive for pleasure and always bypass the middle, missing the path of the excellent one, the path of the seeker of truth. Attached to birth and becoming, happiness and suffering, good and evil, the one who does not travel this middle path cannot become a wise one, cannot find liberation. Our path is straight, the path of tranquility and pure awareness, calmed of both elation and sorrow. If your heart is like this, you can stop asking for other people for guidance. When you will see that when the heart-mind is unattached, it is abiding in its normal state. When it stirs from the normal because of various thoughts and feelings, the process of thought construction takes place, in which illusions are created. Learn to see through this process. When the mind is stirred from normal, it leads away from right practice to one of the extremes of indulgence or aversion, thereby creating more illusion, more thought construction. Good or bad only arises in your mind. If you watch on your mind, studying this one topic your whole life, I guarantee that you will never be bored. Our practice here is to not grasp anything, Ajahn Chah told a new monk. But isn't it necessary to hold on to things sometimes? The monk protested. With the hands, yes, but not with the heart, the teacher replied. When the heart grasps what is painful, it's like being bitten by a snake. And when, through desire, it grasps what is pleasant, it's just grasping the tail of the snake. It only takes a little while longer for the head of the snake to come around and bite you. Make this non-grasping and mindfulness the guardian of your heart, like a parent. Then your likes and dislikes will come calling like children. I don't like that, Mommy. I want some more of that, Daddy. Just smile and say, sure, kid. But Mommy, I really want an elephant. Sure, kid. I want candy. Can we go for an airplane ride? There's no problem if you can let them come and go without grasping. Something contacts the senses, like or dislike arises, and right there is delusion. Yet with mindfulness, wisdom can arise in the same experience. Do not fear places where many things contact the senses if you must be there. Enlightened does not mean deaf and blind. Saying a mantra every second to block things out, you might get hit by a car. Just be mindful and do not get fooled. But when others say something is pretty, say to yourself, it's not. When others say something is delicious, say to yourself, no, it's not. Do not get caught in the attachments of the world or in relative judgments. Just let it all go by. Some people are afraid of generosity. They feel that they will be exploited or oppressed, that they will not be properly caring for themselves. In cultivating generosity, we are only oppressing our greed and attachment. This allows our true nature to express itself and become lighter and freer. When you take a good look at it, this world of ours is just that much. It exists just as it is. Ruled by birth, aging, sickness, and death, it's only that much. Great or little is only that much. The wheel of life and death is only that much. Then why are we still attached, caught up, not removed? Playing around with the objects of life give us some enjoyment. Yet this enjoyment is also just that much. Whatever is pleasurable, delicious, exciting, good, is just that much. It has its limit. It's not as if anything outstanding. The Buddha taught that everything is just that much, of equal value. We should contemplate this point. Just look at the Western monks who have come here to practice. They have experienced much pleasure and comfort in their lives, but it was only that much. Trying to make more of it just drove them crazy. They became world travelers, let everything go. It was still only that much. Then they came here to the forest to learn to give it all up, all attachments, all suffering. All conditioned things are the same, impermanent, caught up in the cycle of birth and death. Just look at them. They're only that much. All things in the world exist thus. Some people say, doing virtuous deeds, practicing religion, you grow old just the same. This may be true of body, but not of the mind, not of the heart, of virtue. When we understand the difference, we have a chance to become free. Look at the elements of our body and mind. They are conditioned phenomena, arising from a cause and therefore impermanent. Their nature is always the same. It cannot be changed. A great noble and a common servant are the same. When they become old, their act comes to an end. They can no longer put on airs and hide behind masks. There is nowhere to go, no more taste, no more texture. When you get old, your sight becomes dim, your hearing weakens, your body becomes feeble. You must face yourself. We human beings are constantly in combat, at war to escape the fact of being just that much. But instead of escaping, we continue to create more suffering. Waging war with good, waging war with evil, waging war with what is small, waging war with what is big, waging war with what is short or long or right or wrong, courageously carrying on that battle. The Buddha taught the truth, but we are like buffalo. Unless they are tied down firmly by all four legs, they will not allow themselves to be given any medicine. Once they have been tied down and cannot do anything, now you can go ahead and give them the medicine, and they are unable to struggle away. In the same way, most of us must be totally bound up in suffering before we will let go and give up our delusions. If we can still writhe away, we will not yet give in. A few people can understand the Dhamma when they hear it taught and explained by a teacher. But life must teach most of us all the way to the end. You can pull on the end of the rope, but if the other end is stuck, the rope will never budge. In order to make it become free, you need to find out where it is stuck. You need to seek out the source or the root of the problem. We must use our practice fully to discover how we are stuck, to discover the heart of peace. We must follow the ox's tracks from the beginning, from the point at which it left the corral. If we start in the middle of the trail, we will not be able to tell whose ox's tracks they are, and thus we could be led anywhere. Therefore, the Buddha spoke of first correcting our views. We must investigate the very root of suffering, the very truth of life. If we can see that all things are just that much, we will find the true path. We must come to know the reality of conditioned phenomena, the way things are. Only then can we have peace in our world. The Buddha taught that with things that come about of their own, once you have done your work, you can leave the results to nature, to the power of your accumulated karma. Yet your exertion of effort should not cease. Whether the fruit of wisdom comes quickly or slowly, you cannot force it, just as you cannot force the growth of a tree you have planted. The tree has its own pace. Your job is to dig a hole, water and fertilize it, and protect it from the insects. That much is your affair, a matter of faith. But the way the tree grows is up to the tree. If you practice like this, you can be sure all will be well, and your plant will grow. Thus, you must understand the difference between your work and the plant's work. Leave the plant's business to the plant, and be responsible for your own. If the mind does not know what it needs to do, it will try to force the plant to grow and flower and give fruit in one day. This is wrong view, a major cause of suffering. Just practice in the right direction and leave the rest to your karma. Then, whether it takes 1 or 100 or 1,000 lifetimes, your practice will be at peace.